Hi all, welcome. Today we are going to do a mindfulness that is called Give Yourself a Gift. I thought that in the spirit of Christmas, where we are giving to other people, not just presents, but our time, our physical presence, actual monetarily gifts or homemade gifts. We're giving a lot right now, and we don't always take time to give to ourselves. And something I like to talk to a lot of my patients about is the cup analogy. So I'm going to take a minute to talk about that first. So we all have this proverbial cup that we need to keep full because we pour from our cup. So our cup pours into our job cup, it pours into a kid's cup, it pours into friends, it pours into any activities that we're doing or any sports that we're involved in. So we have all these different cups that we're pouring into. So what happens a lot is if we don't fill our cup back up, we can't pour into anybody else's anymore. So while sometimes when I talk about self-care or giving things to yourself, people are really aversive to that because they feel like it's selfish or they're taking time away from their family or their kids or, I need to be doing things for other people. I don't need to be doing things for myself. We don't always realize the impact of us not filling up our cup, because what happens when this cup runneth empty? Right? So we're sitting there trying to pour in all these other cups and there's nothing left, and there's nothing left for us. So what ends up happening is now we're anxious, we're stressed out, we're irritable. So we're not really showing up for all those other things in our life. So now we're begrudgingly going to work. And maybe we're not being our best selves there. We're going to see our family and our friends, but we're not really showing up wholly because we haven't filled up our cup. So that's why I think this is so important, and it's important to talk about self-care. And I also want to talk about the different versions of self-care. So a lot of times when I say self-care, people automatically say, I don't have time for that. Well, we have to make time for things that are important to us. And we are important. You are important. You're important to your family. You're important to your job. You're important to your friends. You are important, and you deserve to take time for yourself, or to make time for yourself rather, right? So how do we do this? Because self-care sometimes feels like a lot. Well, a lot of people think like a bubble bath. That's lovely, and that is self-care. However, a bath takes at least 20 minutes. Sometimes you got to clean the tub first, right? Which nobody wants to do that. So there's a lot of barriers to getting there. And now it's turned into this 40-minute activity. It's a lot harder to make time for 40 minutes than it is for 5 or 10 minutes. So this exercise is quick, it's simple, but we're filling our cup up. And I would really encourage you to think about what kind of things fill up your cup. So is it going out to lunch with a friend or talking to a friend, and how long would that take? Is it having some time alone to do an activity that you like to do? Okay, how long would that take? Is it just drinking your morning coffee alone without any kids or spouses or significant others or friends or roommates or whoever it is that might live with you, who might be kind of invading your space and taking up your time? What does that look like? Is it a cup of tea at the end of the night? It can be something really small, like sitting in your car and listening to your favorite podcast or your favorite song. I know a lot of people don't get that anymore. We used to drive to work and we'd have that time in the car alone that, yeah, it stinks to have to drive to work, but we got that time in the car alone, and not everybody has that anymore. So how do we recreate these things, or how do we make space for them, even if it's something that's only 5 or 10 minutes? So today, I'm going to help you give yourself a gift, right? We're going to give ourselves a gift. So I'm going to read my handy dandy little card here, and then we're going to do an exercise together. Generosity is such a beautiful thing. And while we're good at being generous with others, many of us are not good at practicing generosity towards ourselves. So give yourself a small gift today. It could be the gift of silence or the gift of doing nothing. It could be the gift of time in nature. It's one of my faves. Or the joy of being absorbed in a game or a story. Or the pleasure of eating a cookie. Practice generosity towards yourself is time well spent. I'm actually very food motivated, so I agree with the cookie one, or your favorite ice cream or something. And if you're going to choose something like that, make sure you actually sit down and enjoy it. Don't be like eating it while you're talking to somebody or eating it while you're watching TV. We want to really just take time and enjoy it. I know the holidays are right around the corner, like this week, and maybe there's a lot of food stuff, and a lot of times we're eating with other people, but can you take a minute just to enjoy something on your own? That's a nice one. I really like the nature one, but that is difficult sometimes for people who live in New England who don't like to be outside. So maybe it's even looking at pictures of nature, watching a nature documentary, or there's a ton of websites now where you can watch like baby eagles being born and things like that. It was like nature cams. Sometimes that can be really cool too. What's the other one that I liked on here? Oh, being absorbed in a game or a story. Like, yeah, we do take time sometimes to play games on our phones, but is it something you're really enjoying? And is there other things going on, or can you really make the space to just enjoy it? Another thing I'm a huge fan of is painting or coloring. And, even if you don't finish it, can we start it? Can you take a few minutes and break it up into chunks where maybe every night you're giving yourself 5 minutes to color or 5 minutes to paint? That one's a little bit more involved. Now they have apps on the phone too, where you can even do that too, like a paint by number thing. And those are kind of fun and less messy. And the other thing I was thinking too is the story or the game. There's or podcast I had mentioned earlier, if there's a story or a certain thing that you like to listen to, can you really just sit and listen to it? Or, rather than like doing it while you're cooking or while you're driving, can you really just give yourself that space and time to do that? So those are some challenges to think about this week. Sorry, they're shoveling snow off the roof. I can see it in the background. But right now we are going to practice a mindfulness of just being generous to yourself in your thoughts. So get nice and comfy. You don't have to do anything special for this one. Just sit right where you are and be where you are. And once you're nice and comfortable, we'll start. So we're going to take a nice deep cleansing breath in through the nose, and we'll let it out loud through the mouth. So we'll take that now. Your eyes can start to close, or you can find a spot in front of you that isn't moving and start to soften the gaze around it. And I'd like you to take a moment and think about something that you're proud of, or something that you've overcome recently. Maybe just a certain trait or something that you like about yourself. So this could be harder for some people. So I'm going to give you a minute to really think about it. And if you feel like you need to pause the video at all until you get it, you can always come back. So once you have this positive thing about yourself, I want you to think about how you might respond to somebody else who had accomplished this thing or overcome this thing, or who has this positive trait that you admire. I want you to then say that to yourself. I want you to say it to yourself a few more times. Maybe telling yourself, I'm proud of you. Maybe telling yourself, wow, you did a really awesome job with that. I really like how you handled that. Maybe you're telling yourself, wow, I really like that about you. I really love the way that you're able to insert what it is there. And then I would like you to give a nice message to yourself. So you can pick from one of the ones I'm going to give examples for, or it can be something different. So a very simple one is, may you be well. May you have a good day. May you enjoy time with your family this holiday. May you be present. May you be joyful. whatever it is, just a well wish for yourself. When you're ready, you can start to blink your eyes open, or even if they are open, you can blink them a few times, start to come back to the room. And I want you to just kind of bask in that for a minute. Be thankful for yourself for where you came from, and wish yourself well on the journey where you're going. And I don't know if you noticed, but I did kind of do a bait switch on you in there. A lot of times it's easier for us to validate or be kind to other people. So that's why I had you think about what you might say to other people and then turn around and say it to yourself. And I know that was probably challenging, but that's something that you could continue to practice as you just kind of move on through your life, through your day, through this busy holiday season. But either way, I hope that you have another moment to give yourself a gift, and I hope that you enjoyed this activity. May you have a mindful day. Bye.